Hey, this is Ben with MeasureQuick, and today I have two lovely fellows, Ben Baca and Brian Feenie, here with me. We're going to talk about some of the challenges that HVAC companies, managers, owners, technicians all have when adopting new technologies, and they're going to give a couple tips on how to overcome those challenges. Let's do an intro.
Hi, Brian Feenie here. Been in the HVAC industry just shy of 30 years. Spent the last 5 to 6 years heavily involved in HVAC monitoring in different formats. It's definitely the future of our industry. It's just taking a longer road than usual to get there. But it's definitely better for businesses to consider that type of business model moving forward.
Hi, I'm Ben with smartac.com. Been in the industry just over 9 years now. Got into it completely on accident out of high school. Done everything from sheet metal to HVAC installation and service. Spent the last several years as a technician in Arizona. Ended up with SmartAC, now working on the monitoring end of HVAC. That's where I believe the future is. It's why I ended up here, and I'm fully on board with it, and I want to just make the biggest impact on the industry that I can. And this position allows me to do that.
So I'm going to first start off by asking a question that I'm very curious about all the time, which is, why would you say that it's so difficult for companies to adopt monitoring as a part of their business model?
Well, Ben, why is it difficult for companies to adopt? I think the challenge becomes a lot of times foundationally. It's not just HVAC monitoring or that type of technology to adopt. It's how they adopt things in their business as a whole, whether it's managing change through new processes or managing change through technology. Let's say they're implementing a field service management platform. There's a lot of pain and anguish that contractors can go through when the expectations are not managed properly. When it comes to monitoring technology, there's usually a deeper dive you have to do to help the owner, the technician, the CSR, the salesperson in that business, to help them understand why they're doing it. What's their why? Where does it connect the dots to them? For CSR, it impacts how they answer the phone if a customer's calling in from a monitoring alert. The owner is looking at a big picture, so their why is different, right? They're looking for, what's it going to do for the business? What's it going to do for the customer experience? What benefits there monetarily and profitably? As well as when you look at the technicians, how long is this going to take to install? Am I comfortable with it? Why should I care? Every service technician that I've ever talked to, at the end of the day, they really care about their interaction with the customer, the homeowner. You have to be able to connect the dots and help them understand how they fit into the big picture. And getting everyone rowing in the same direction is usually the most difficult thing to do if you don't pursue it from that perspective. Certainly learned the hard way over the last 4 years being involved in and out of that part of the industry, after consulting for a few companies as well. And that is the common thread that needs to be really taken into perspective at the highest level.
Yeah, so in general, new things are scary, but on top of that, new technology is scary. So there's this mental thing that people have to get over in order to be able to try something new and implement that into their business. But additionally, as Brian was saying, it's a business thing as a whole. Like, you can't just implement it at just a technician level. It's got to be implemented throughout the whole company. Something that we've seen here at SmartAC is that it needs to happen at every level of the business, and it's got to happen wholeheartedly. You can't just half do it. If you want to be successful at it and really use it to your advantage, it's got to be done throughout every level of the business and completely wholeheartedly and adopted from basically the top down.
If you're a business owner, you want to make sound business decisions that are going to have either low risk or high reward. It's hard to balance that sometimes. New technology always has risk. Brian, you can talk about the level of risk that was involved, or even maybe the level of commitment that was needed. And then Ben, you can talk now about what the new technology is like in contrast.
What we've seen the monitoring technology evolve to, going back 5-6 years ago, it was very complex. It was a fairly technical installation. It was providing a ton of information on the system. And at the surface, it started to look like it was replacing human beings doing the work. Having live temperature split, refrigerant line temperatures, calculating all the inner details of how a system's working and having that monitoring 24/7, a lot of technicians tend to look at it from, hey, you're replacing me here. On top of that, you're adding complexity of an installation where low voltage wiring for an average tech is pretty overwhelming at times. So when you add that in there as well, that's another point of resistance. And really, at the end of the day, it's what's the goal? And I think we, over the years, have clearly found that the goal is to get the technician to the door to do meaningful work and add a layer of transparency between the customer and the homeowner. So the simpler you can make it, whether it's the technology or the experience, the easier it's going to be to deploy, to scale. The other challenges that exist also are the application. A lot of monitoring solutions tend to cater towards AC and heat pump or some gas furnace. But when you get into boilers and some nuanced items like ductless systems, mini splits, etc., it makes it difficult for the business to truly scale a business model like that. It's certainly starting to evolve. You're seeing thermostat technology do monitoring. You're seeing sensor technology come aboard. So it's getting simpler. And I think that's a key part of the future of HVAC monitoring. I believe really needs to continue to be more simplified and understand or set those expectations of here's what the goal is. The goal is to get you a demand service lead and the best possible experience between you and the customer, meaning the homeowner, then you probably have a good chance of winning.
So Ben, now you've only recently joined Smart AC. Would you say that the technology that they have actually has hit that simpler package compared to something like Sensi Predict many years ago?
Absolutely. Here at Smart AC, we've designed our product to be as simple as possible, both for the technician installing the equipment as the homeowner end of things. In terms of their homeowner app, we want everything to be as simple, as fluid as possible. So that's some of our core model as simple as possible, but at the same time, gathering as much data as we can with the minimum amount of sensors.
And very low overhead when it comes to installation and even looking at the data. That's what I really enjoyed looking at Smart AC and playing around with your technology, is that it's not really designed to replace those functions that a tech does on site. It's designed to supplement them with just the right amount of data that is already sorted for their own needs, tells them exactly what to worry about, and it only takes 15 minutes to install, and there's no wires required. It's all wireless, it's all battery powered, so it removes all that additional friction that I've seen from some of the other platforms I've played with.
Correct. So, yeah, I mean, we're not trying to replace technicians whatsoever. At Smart AC, we want to just make technicians and businesses more efficient. So with our product, we're able to empower those technicians to do more. So rather than having technicians running endless maintenance calls, we want to do less maintenances, more demand calls, and get those technicians out in the field where they can really make more of a difference.